Hello, welcome to the Roy Rogers News Channel. Thank you so much for watching. Anyways, today, well, I noticed that my iPhone video has done really well. So I'm going to try to tackle another technological question on PokeMMO. And I've seen this question asked a few years ago about controllers and PokeMMO. So during my 3-week hiatus, I purchased 3 controllers. This one was from Amazon, and this one was from Walmart, and this one was also from Amazon. So I went ahead and exposed all the contents here that was packaged in each controller. So I'm going to go ahead and list the timestamps of all these controllers being operated, so that way you can fast forward to the controller that you like best. So let's go ahead and go to the field and test out these controllers and see how they all work, shall we? And we're going to start off with the Logitech GF710, because this controller is the easiest to map.
We are back, and this time I'm in the studio, my real life studio, not the in-game studio, where I can discuss the Logitech F710 controller. And the controller comes with 3 parts, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast. It comes with the actual controller. Let's go ahead and take a look here. And I should also mention that these analog sticks that are movable, they also have a clickable button as well. So both of them have that capability. Also back and mode and vibration button, although vibration doesn't really apply to PokeMMO, but it's good to know that it's there. You also have the start button, the A, B, X, and Y button. And then there are 4 trigger buttons. So let's go ahead and read the instructions. Oh yeah, before I do that, I should also note that here's the wireless receiver for the Logitech controller. Logitech loves putting wireless receivers on computers, so when you own a Logitech device, it is important to know that you need to plug in your wireless receiver. Speaking of your wireless receiver, there's also a USB extension cord, and I'm going to make use of that during the gameplay footage, because I want to make sure that my USB can be able to pick up the signals that the controller is making. So let's go ahead and plug that in, and then we can read the instructions. It's kind of hard to do this all with one hand, so I'm going to try my best to plug this in here. It's off camera. Perfect. All right. So here it is right there. And as you can hear by the sounds, I'm not sure if you heard that, but that was the USB being plugged in. Now I'm going to put the signal right over here, so when I play PokeMMO, the USB can be able to pick up the signal. Alright, now before we even do all that, let's go ahead and read the instructions. So here's a diagram of the controller buttons and such. I'm trying to hold this with one hand. It's not that easy, but I'm trying. Okay. And now let's go ahead and read the instructions, shall we? Okay. So for the control, you have the left button trigger. The button is digital, trigger is analog. Button and trigger are digital and programmable, and that's the same for the right button trigger. D-pad, there's an 8-way D-pad, and the 8-way D-pad is programmable. And then you have 2 analog mini sticks, and that you can click for the button functionality, which I have mentioned earlier. And those buttons are also programmable, and you can be able to click those buttons for that as well. Okay, so you have the mode button, which selects flight or sports mode, flight mode, analog sticks, control action, and D-pad controls POV. Status light is off, sports mode, D-pad controls, action, and analog sticks. Control POV, status light is on. Alright, then we have the mood status light. Indicates sports mode, left analog stick and D-pad are swapped, controlled by mode button. And then you have the vibration button, which does not apply to PokeMMO, but it's good to know that it exists. Okay, so you have the vibration feedback on and off. Okay, then you have the 4 action buttons, the A, B, X, Y, and those buttons are programmable. Then you have the start button. Well, start. There you go. If you play a game and if you want to go to start, you can. But on PokeMMO, it is a secondary programmable action button. Then you have the Logitech button, and that is a very important button. I'm going to get to that later. That button is a guide button or the keyboard home key. And then you have the back button, which lets you go back, but it's also a second programmable action button, which also applies to PokeMMO. Alright. PokeMMO has a secondary button effect. Okay, so now that I read all the instructions, let me go and talk about this button here, because this button is going to be very crucial to connecting your Logitech. And I'm going to cut to the laptop with better filming, but I need to mention number 10. If you're trying to hone your device in the control panel, it is very important to click that one button in the center. And once you do, then the device can be linked up. So you can be able to do that, but first you have to plug this thing in, which I did already. You have to plug that in there. And then once all the components are all plugged in, you go to the control panel, you can be able to do all that.
Alright, and I forgot to mention that the battery cover is back here. So if you ever need to change the batteries, you can. There are 2 AA batteries. And if you buy this on stock, then there should be 2 batteries packed in here. But if you need to change the batteries, the tabs are right there, and you can just pull this cover off and you can change the AA's.
Now without further ado, let's go ahead and cut to me setting this controller up, and then we're going to go to the second controller. Oh yeah, and I'm going to test out this controller through normal gameplay. So, and I have left another sequence for the last controller, so stay tuned for that. Alright, I'm going to be right back. Alright, we are on the control panel, and how you get to the control panel for anyone that has not done that, you go to the start function, then you just type in control panel, and you should be able to go to the control panel. Alright, so we are here. Let's go ahead and click on hardware and sound, because this is going to be very important. And then what we need to type in is game on the search option there. And it should pop up right over here. Set up USB game controllers. There's a search tab to the top right of your computer, and then set up USB gaming devices. So let's go ahead. Alright, and I already synced this up, but just in case you didn't, you want to go ahead and click on the add function, and then you just click on the Logitech button that was showcased earlier, and then this controller can be able to be mapped. Now, let's go ahead and log on PokeMMO and see what we can do with this controller, shall we? Alright, we are here on PokeMMO, and let's go ahead and see what the control panel has to offer us, shall we? So, let's go ahead and take a look. Alright, I am back, and this is pretty much the extent of how to set up your controller. I should note that button 0 is your A button, and your B button is button 1. So let's go ahead and log on PokeMMO, and let's test out these buttons on the field, shall we? Oh yeah, I should also note that there's a secondary button in case you need it. You can press down on one of these analog buttons, and you can be able to create a button there. And let's just say I don't want to see the GUI. I can click on that second button right there,
And I can have button 8 right there. All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and save the settings. Okay, and now it's time for us to log on PokeMMO and actually test out these buttons. All right, I am back, and let's go ahead and test this out. Be able to run here, and I can be able to click my bag via the hotkey there. I actually kind of like this. The Pokedex is the trigger there. I can be able to scroll down here if I want to. Yeah, it's great. Then and then you have the map there. Perfect. Man, I like this. Good job to the PokeMMO dev team. I'm still shocked that you can be able to play PokeMMO like this. I mean, this is pretty impressive. So now it's time for us to actually fight in a battle and see what the fight's like. All right. So we have the analog there, and I can't really express what it's like on camera, but generally speaking, you don't have to click it. You can just, as you can hear in the recording, I'm using my analog stick, my left analog stick, to click on these buttons. And it's almost like you're playing this on a game console. So, there we go. Maybe we can record myself catching that Bisharna at the end of this controller tutorial. So, let's go ahead and commence with this fight and wait until it's over. Okay. There we go. Perfect. Alright. Now that we fought the lady there, we went ahead and tested out and see what the battle screen looks like. So let's go ahead and go directly to the other controller, and we can be able to map that out as well. So I'm going to be right back. Please stay tuned to the Roy Rogers News channel for further PokeMMO control coverage.
Alright, we are here with the second controller, the Moga Power A XP5X Plus. And this is Bluetooth controller for mobile and cloud gaming. And this is Xbox approved, so if you want to use it on an Xbox or something like that, then you can do that. Alright, but this is not the purview of this video because Roy Rogers News is not an Xbox channel. We are a PokeMMO exclusive channel, and with that in mind, let's go ahead and discuss how you can use this controller for PokeMMO. Okay, so unfortunately, when I bought the controller, there was no Bluetooth adapter, so I can't really use the Bluetooth capabilities for PokeMMO. So without further ado, let's go ahead and read the guide, shall we? So the only, by the way, the only real plug that you need is the long one. So you need this one. You don't want these because it'd be a living torture to play your game and having to scrunch in front of the computer. So we're just going to put these two aside. Alright, so here's a diagram of what the controller looks like. I'm going to go ahead and slow down and make sure you can be able to comprehend all the buttons and know what they do. Oh. Okay. Can you read that? Okay, there you go. I'm going to put that temporarily. So that's the Bluetooth pairing button, which there is an advanced gaming buttons there. All right, there we go. All right. And this controller is rechargeable, so you can recharge the batteries at any given time, so you don't have to change it like Logitech's controller, if you're into that. Okay, oh yeah. There we go, factory reset whole. That's gaming buttons. Precision analog. All right. All right, and there we go. Now, what we're going to be using is this particular port. So let's go ahead and do that. So in the back, what we have is one port for USB and the other port for the port that we're going to be using, which also happens to be the same plug style as the Android phone. All right, let's go ahead and plug this in, and then we're going to plug it into the computer there. Same spot where I put the Logitech. Yep, and that grips for dear life. Make sure it clicks. And now, let's go right ahead and plug this guy in. It's kind of hard to do this with one hand. It's very demanding. So, I can tell you what I'm doing. So basically what I'm doing is that I have this here, and then I'm going to plug this guy in. All right, now that we have this all wired up, now we have to go into, and normally I would cut to the laptop because it's better quality, but since this controller is so demanding, I'm gonna have to film manually, so my apologies for the quality. All right, so I'm gonna go and type in control panel. Let's go ahead and type that in. Same setup as the Logitech. Okay, and we type over here, just like with the Logitech controller, we type in USB game controller. There we go, right there. And then you just wait for this to be recognized. You have to turn that on, and it should be recognized. Oh, almost forgot. I need to flip the switch. Perfect. I don't know. I was like, oh, what happened? I need to flip the switch from USB to BT. That's a very important thing. I think I forgot to mention that. That's very important. You have to turn that switch to USB. You want to use the USB capability of the controller. Okay, so now we're at USB, and you can see that the controller is right there. So let's go ahead and click. So we can do input mode, so that way the settings can sync over to PokeMMO. So let's go ahead and click the start and select for about 3 seconds. So this is the start and select here. That's why I didn't recognize the buttons. I thought they were there. So now we went ahead and switched over to the input part of the controller, which is very important because on PokeMMO you need to map out what all these buttons represent. So we're going to go into settings here. By the way, if you're wondering how I look at my computer, this is how I look at it. All right, so we have the X input controller, and as you can see by default, it has all of these right there. All right, and now we can be able to test out and see how we can play PokeMMO with this control scheme. And this time, instead of testing out an NPC battle, because I've done that already, I'm going to go ahead and test out a dialogue with the NPC. So let's go ahead and do that right now. All right, I am here in game on another account, and I fought all these NPCs, so that way I don't have to worry about that. Oh yeah, I need to film myself using the controller. Go ahead and situate that. Hold that. Okay, I think I have this, right? So if I want to walk, I can do that. My apologies for the mobile thing. If I want to walk, I can do that. If I want to run, I can. Man, it'd be nice to have a second hand, but I'm using my second hand to film. I have to click on the B button. There we go, and then I can just toggle the run. You can see there, toggle the run. And let's just say that I want to pick up something. I can do that. So that is how you can click on your A button there. Apologies for not filming myself clicking that. kind of hard to hold two things at the same time. Yeah, alright. I'm not really experienced in filming technology, so yeah, alright. And then for our third controller test, we're going to be trying to catch Nisharna, which we can do momentarily, but I gotta talk with an NPC. And what better NPC to talk with than a sage? So let's go ahead and talk to the NPC. There we go. It's kind of hard for me to control with just one hand. Okay. Now, this NPC is going to approach us, so no problem. Oh yeah, one more item to test. This time an exposed item. There we go. Perfect. The controller's functionality is working as intended. Alright. And we're dealing with the left controller. Okay. And this guy is going to bump into us. You can tell you can be able to go through dialogue here. Alright, there we go. Take a quick break, so I'm going to be right back. Please stay tuned to the Roy Rogers News channel for further controller coverage.
Alright, I am here, and I'm currently recording the mobile version of this controller. Now, in order to do this, we can set up the Bluetooth option, which is why this controller also happens to have this thing, because this thing can extend for your Android device. Alright, so in order to pair up the Bluetooth, I hope you can read those instructions well. So basically what we need to do is, you see this X, we're going to have to click on that button. As you can see, it's going to have this light flicker, and then we're going to click on that button, which has a Bluetooth icon. I hope you can see it, but if you can't, no problem. But yeah, and then we just click on that, and then that light's going to suddenly flash rapidly. Now, while that is going on, what you want to do is you want to go into your settings, go into connections, and then you go into Bluetooth. Bluetooth is on, and now, as you can see, this option is there. Yes. And this light becomes solid the moment that it is connected here on PokeMMO. So now we'll connect it to your phone, which will be connected to PokeMMO, which is why I'm doing a review of this controller. Okay, so now let's go ahead and log into PokeMMO, and then we can do a test. So we'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I'm now on PokeMMO, as you can see there. And again, I hope that my camera is okay. You can be able to hold your game like this. Now, I'm able to click that B button if I want to run. There we go. And then let's go ahead and sample what a fight looks like. Okay. So you get the basic idea. Of how to operate this controller. Oops. There we go. All right. And now that you know how that works, I can be able to test out another fight with the last controller. So let's go and do that right now.
All right, I am back with the third controller. And out of all the controllers, this one, I have to say, is my favorite one because there's so much nostalgia to it. And the fact that back in my day when I played the Game Boy Advance games quite intently, I used to get the GBA player on the Gamecube and play it on the big screen. I feel very excited mapping this controller on PokeMMO. And plus, it can feel like I'm playing the GBA player all over again. So that's sort of an added bonus. I have never really owned a Wavebird, but if you have the Wavebird GameCube controller, then there is Bluetooth pairing, but you're going to need an extra dongle, and I don't have that, and it didn't come in the packaging. Yeah, all right. And I don't want to have these controllers linked in the description because I don't want people to accuse me of taking a cut from these controllers. I bought this with my own money. Let's go ahead and discuss about the way to download it on the laptop. Now, we don't have the Bluetooth dongle, so we have to omit this, unfortunately. So we can go through the other route, which is by plugging in the GameCube controller. The way I plugged it just sounded so smooth. I mean, I'd probably cut that out, but it plugged in very smooth compared to the Xbox controller that I showed earlier. Man, this GameCube controller is so well made. It's not an official GameCube controller, but it's an off-brand one, but they made it pretty well. All right, now I gotta plug this into the USB right there. Okay, there we go. So I plugged this in, and I am looking forward to programming this controller. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, let's go ahead and go to the control panel. All right, my laptop's so used to me going to the control panel, just had it in the start button. And then let's go ahead and type in USB. I'm sure my laptop's going to be used to me typing this in. Okay, right there, perfect. All right. All right, we have the gamepad right there. And now we can be able to log on PokeMMO, and I can do that right now. And I'm looking forward to trying this controller. This is going to be the very first time that I've tried this out. So, yeah, man. I am very excited to try this out. All right, let's see if it pops in the settings. Okay. My apologies, I'm getting a little bit excited. All right. Yes, it does. All right, so we have all the buttons there. Yes. All right, I'm looking forward to trying this out. Now, I'm probably going to remap these buttons because this controller I'm probably going to be using because I love GameCube controller and the way how it is formatted. Out of all the controllers I've played in my life, the GameCube seems to have the best ergonomics. But maybe I'm wrong, but I love the way how the GameCube has the controller functioning right there. Okay. So enough of me talking, let's go ahead and log in here. So I'm going to do that right now. Whoa, I am back playing with the GameCube controller. Just to let you know, this is 0 and this is 1. So if you see it in the settings, you have to flip it around because by default, these two are the opposites. So make sure to do that prior. But let's go ahead and take a look here. Yeah, this is excellent. I love this. This feels just like playing on the GBA player. Man, I'm loving this. All right, let's go ahead and... All right. But the festivities are not done yet. Let's go ahead and push a boulder. All right, let me show myself playing this. Kind of hard doing this all with two hands. I'm so used to playing GameCube with two hands. Okay, I don't have the longest thumbs in the world, but I'm gonna try to do this. Okay, boulder needs to be pushed. Yes. All right. And then I have to move up there. Perfect. And now I am going to, well, first I'm going to get the item. Why not? Oh yeah, just in case you want to run away, you can do that too. You don't have to go to the cursor there. Let's run there. Okay, perfect. I never knew I'd be playing a game controller like this, but there we go. All right. And now let's go ahead and talk to Misharna. There we go. Thursday night, Windows, computer updating, and that sort of thing. But now I'm going to show you all the functionalities with Misharna. And I need to have this controller out here. Okay, so basically what I can do is I can go to Pokemon there. Man, I wish I had an assistant or someone to hold on to my device. Okay, let's switch here. Yeah, this feels just like playing on the GBA player back in my day. Now I don't have any Breland with me, so yeah, I'm gonna have to take a quick break and then I'm going to cut to when I can use the bag. I hope we can catch it, but if not, I'm gonna take a quick break until I can catch it. But yeah, you can always go back to your bag right there. Alright, and we caught Misharna. Alright, there we go. And cut it. Also with the GameCube controller, at least I initiated the fight with the GameCube controller. And now we can check Misharna's stats. Actually, I'm just going to try to check it with the GameCube controller right there. There we go. Alright, so 6x15, this is a story mode Pokemon, no problem. But hey, at least we have it in our decks, so that's good. Alright, so with that.
Alright, I am back, and now I'm going to show you how to activate the Exlene GameCube controller on mobile. Now, since this is an Android device, the pairing is going to be slightly different. So, in order to pair up the Android, you have to click on the home button and the A button as per the instructions. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Now I'm going to go into my settings, I'm going to go into connections as I did before. Alright, I am here back on the Bluetooth, but now I don't want to connect to this controller. This controller is still active, but I want to connect to the GameCube controller. Now how do I do that? I have to hold down the home button, and you can see it better in person, and the A button, GameCube A button. So let's go ahead and hold that in rapid succession, and then it should, yeah, as you can see there, it's blinking, and then it should pop up on here. Turn it off? No. That's another way to do it. Okay, so we pair it up. Yes. And as you can hear, the rumble has occurred, so that means we can go on PokeMMO. And now we can see the settings here, which you can get that by clicking on the cog there. And now you can see an extra option which says Gamepad right over there. Now you can, hopefully you can see it, but this camera reacts better when I zoom out here. So let me go ahead and X out, and the more important part is let's go and log in, and I'm going to do that momentarily. Okay, I am here, and I am on PokeMMO with my GameCube controller, and let me go ahead and hold on to this
very hard to operate this with one hand. Oh yeah, very important note is that these two buttons are flipped. So make sure you go into the controls and under Gamepad. So this is button number 90. Yeah. So if you see, there's that. Oh yeah, I already reset this previously. I've done multiple takes, so yeah, that's good. I've already done that, but by default, the two buttons are going to be flipped. So let's go ahead and test myself playing PokeMMO with this GameCube controller. Alright, and then we're going to fight this guy. I saved this guy specifically for this GameCube controller. I'm going to do the same trick as I did before, so that way I can be able to operate the commentary right there. I hope the quality is good. This camera is from the late 2000s, so I hope the quality is not unbearable by today's standards. All right. As you can see, I'm not touching the game because I am using the GameCube controller. Alright. There you go. You've seen an active test of perfect timing. Starting leveled up. That's the final test we're going to be doing today. And now I'm going to cut quickly to how to activate a Bluetooth if you do happen to have a dongle for either the second controller that I featured or the Exlene controller that I featured. Feel free to go ahead and check out how to activate the Bluetooth right now. Alright, and this implies that you have the Bluetooth wireless adapter for either the Xbox or the GameCube controllers. And in order to activate the Bluetooth option for those controllers, you have to go into the settings option. And then you got to go into the devices option, which is the second one that you see here, Bluetooth, printers, and mouse. Let's go and click on that. And then we're going to click on add Bluetooth or other device. Let's go and click on that. And then we're going to click on this plus sign here that has the option Xbox controllers with wireless adapter. And there you go. And you should be able to have a signal picked up. Now, since we don't have the wireless adapter, then that means this won't work. However, I should note that if you do have the wireless adapter, you should see the option there and then be able to apply it and log on PokeMMO, go into the settings, and then you can be able to adjust the controls to your liking. Now, before I sign off, I would like to make a brief apology for the slight quality degrade in the smartphone tutorial for the Xbox and GameCube controllers due to the old footage being filmed from the iPhone and the fact that it was locked up and it wasn't really behaving properly when I tried to upload those two pieces of footage for editing. I was forced to compromise in the quality. So I had to record on my Nokia camera from the late 2000s, and I hope that it's not too much of a quality degrade. I hope you can be able to still see what's going on. But I didn't want to delay this video because this video is quite late and I really want to release this video as quickly as possible. So my apologies for the slight quality degrade, but I hope that you still find it informative. And with that, I appreciate your understanding.
This is the Roy Rogers News Channel. Don't forget to comment and subscribe to the channel, like the content that you see here. And this is the Roy Rogers News Channel signing off. Fast, circular bias, Roy Rogers News.